Yes people, this is Otis from More Myself and Fitness. I'm back with a new video. So it's not going to be the usual jumping up and down, no HIIT workouts, none of that today. What I'm going to be doing is a nice, relaxing, sometimes intense stretch video. So stay tuned and I'm going to take you all the way through it. Alright, so before we start, I'm going to go through a few little things regarding stretching. First of all, it's one of the most undervalued and underutilized elements of fitness. I guess it's common sense to know that if you stretch regularly before you exercise, it's a good way of preventing injury. However, there are a lot of other benefits. Because we live very sedentary lifestyles, sitting at desks, sitting down on the sofas, sitting down in chairs, hardly moving on a day-to-day basis, our bodies become trained into very cramped positions and closed positions. So our shoulders become rounded, hip flexors become tighter. So stretching is very important to help fix posture, because if your posture is bad and it remains bad for a long time, that's going to lead to bigger health problems like issues with spinal alignment, and then mobility and things like that will be affected. Today's stretch is just going to be me stretching out my body as I would when I've got time and I feel like I want to have a good little stretch. I'm going to go through the stretches probably once or twice, not as much as I would do when I'm doing it myself. When I do this on my own, I could take up to 40, 50 minutes, even an hour sometimes, but I want to wrap this up in around 20 minutes or so. So I want to give you a good variety of stretches so that you've got a good few to go through yourself when you're using this after your workouts or on a day when you want to stretch yourself. Alright, to start off, if I'm doing my stretch class or if I'm really going to try and get in the mood to stretch and relax my body, I'll start off just with some breathing. So I'll just start just standing up, hands by my side, behind my back, or sometimes behind my head to open up my chest. And I'll just sit here, stand there for a minute or so and just breathe. And I'll try and do my breathing through my nose. So in through my nose and out through my nose. So just like this. And I'll just do this for a minute, relax myself, get into it. I know we haven't got time for this on the video, so we move on. So from there, I'll just start to loosen out my neck. So the first one, you can just go forward and back. So you're going to keep your body still, chin's going to come down to the chest, and then head's going to rock back. You want to keep your body still, don't let the chest move. It's all about getting the neck stretching out. After that, I'm going to rotate the neck, so just take it right and left. I think the neck is a very understretched part of the body. Anytime I stretch my neck, I can hear it creep, all the creases loosening out. The next one, stretch out the side of the neck, so standing still again, body doesn't move, taking it side to side, just like that. So this one, you want to ease into it, nice slow movement. And then as you start to loosen out the neck and you feel it, then you can start stretching it out and getting the head to bend a little bit further down towards the shoulder. After that, the last one, we'll just take it round. So do this a few times. And once again, trying to keep the body still as you can, and then go back around the other way. Alright, so after that, loosen out the shoulders. So just take them back, just like that, and then take them forwards. I'm going to take the shoulders, loosen the shoulders a little bit more now. So take a wider stance now, shoulder width apart, and big circles back, just like that. And then you can take them forwards, just like that. Next one, bring the legs in a little bit more, have your hands out, palms facing out, so when they come together it's like you're going to clap, and let the arms cross. So you're going to loosen out the front of the shoulders, and you want to feel your shoulder blades coming together to meet each other as you open out into that position. And then as you cross over, the shoulder starts to loosen, the front of the shoulders start to loosen. All right, next one, loosen out the core a little bit. Loosen out the obliques, the stomach, and the lower back as well. So, shoulder width apart again, they're just going to rotate right and left. Some people, what they do, they'll rotate like this with their face still facing. What you want to do is let your face go as far right, far left as you can, and that helps push your body further right, further left, and you get a deeper stretch. So once again, you can just start where you are, and as you start to loosen out a bit, you can start pushing it a little bit further. You're going to feel that right here in the lower part of the trunk. All right, next one, we're going to loosen out the obliques, which are the side muscles. So you're going to have your hands by your sides, feet together, and you're just going to lean to the side. So stretch it out just like that. So sometimes when I do this, well, a lot of the times, I feel my back starting to click, the base of my spine clicking. So that's showing that it's loosening out that tightness that's there. So just like that. What you can do is add some extra leverage, holding onto the shoulders, keeping your feet together, and kicking out to the sides, just like that again. I can feel and hear it clicking out again. All right, next one. Let's get the tricep stretch. So I link the hands together like this. Hands above the head. Body stays still, and you pull down, so you're going to get a stretch on the triceps. Pull it down like that. What I want to do from there is start to engage, stretch out the obliques again and get into the hips a bit. So, same position, pull it down and lean down to the side. Once again, using that leverage to stretch out the sides. By the way, just a little tip or best practice from my point of view, I never stretch a muscle cold. So I'll always, for example, just now I've just finished my class. Around 45 minutes ago I did a stretch then, but now this is my longer stretch that I'm doing, or demonstration of my longer stretch. But I'll never stretch a muscle when it's cold, because obviously it's like an elastic band. If it's taken out of the freezer and you start to just try and pull it, it's going to break. Whereas if you start to just loosen it out, rub it, get it warmed up, and then eventually you can start stretching it out a bit more. So even if you have to go for a little jog, do jumping jacks, just on the spot, punches or something, just to loosen out your body, do that first, because you don't want to be stretching a cold muscle. All right, so the next one, I'm going to introduce the legs into the workout. Let me set the camera so you can get the full picture. All right, so what we're going to do next is get a hamstring stretch, which is the back of the legs, and also stretch out the front part of the body, the chest, and the front part of the shoulders, the deltoids. So what we're going to do is take a wide stance, keep the knees locked. I'm going to go from the side so you can see me. So my knees are locked out. I'm going to link my hands at the back. So I'm going to come down into the stretch. And as I lift my hands up, it stretches out the front of my chest, front of my shoulders and my chest. So a lot of the yogis, they can literally take their hands all the way down to the ground, or pretty far to the ground. But this is my range right now. I'm sure by the end of the day, under the year, my flexibility has improved, or will have improved. So you just work with where you are. So that's that one. All right, so I'm going to take it to the floor now. So more work on the hamstrings. So once again, you want to have your knees locked out. So this one, you're just going to stretch forward first of all. And this one, the breathing now is essential. So I just breathe through my nose. And as I breathe through, I don't want to chop the breath, stop the breath. Just nice and smoothly in, nice and smoothly out. And what you feel, as the air leaves your belly, you start to lower, your body starts to lower. Sometimes you get deeper into the stretch, so you just breathe. And just breathe in fully, breathe out fully, and you start to advance in your stretch. If you don't advance in the stretch, you start to feel more comfortable at the position that was a bit hard at the start. Next one, I'm going to go hands, each hand on each leg. Take the head down. And then we're going to go both hands to one leg. And what you can do here, this is a good one for the hamstrings and the calves, obviously. If you want to get more of a stretch into the lower back, what you can do is take the left hand to the outside of the right foot. And as you do that, you get a stretch all along this side here. So through the lats, right into the lower back. Then we're going to go, same thing on the other side. So getting that stretch all the way from the lats into the lower back again on this side. And then I'll just go back again, go through this one, go through that one, and then both sides. Just loosen out the hamstrings. All right, from there, I want to loosen out the groin. All right, the next stretch is a groin stretch. All right, so you want to take your knees wide apart, so you start to feel the stretch in your groin area, inside of the leg. And it's going to start opening up the hips as well. So what you're going to do is use your hands to apply pressure or relieve pressure in the stretch. So as you come forward, the stretch is easier. As you come back, you start to feel the stretch more. So you just want to, what I want to do, I just want to ease the groins and stretch them out a bit more, and also push open the hips. So I'll push back and just keep breathing it in, even when it's hard. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Apply the pressure. Once it gets a bit too much, come back out and keep coming back and forth, and eventually start to increase your stretch from that position. So that's that one for the groin. Next one, let's come up to a widest position with your feet pointing outwards. So what I do from here, once again, you're just going to lean side to side, and that's going to stretch out the groins as well. And just going to put your weight onto your elbows, onto your knees. So go side to side with that one, just like that. All right, so let's get into the glutes now. So next one, what you want to do is have, let's get in position. Let's go from this side. So your right foot is your post-up leg. That's the support. The left leg is an active leg. So the left foot is going to go on top of the right knee. So you're going to hold it there, and what you can do is bring that right foot in. As you do that, you're going to feel the stretch around the hip going into the groin now. Sorry, going into the glutes. Yeah, so you can bring that in, and that's going to make the stretch harder. Take it out, it makes the stretch easier. You can work at your level, wherever you are, and just try and increase that. What you can also do is use your elbow, get that into the knee joint, and push that out. As you do that, once again, that puts pressure on the glutes. So that's the stretch, just push in, and once again, just breathe deep, in and out. With this, my left side is noticeably less flexible than my right, so I feel this side a lot more when I do this. So it's just about the breathing, always. You don't worry about the stretch, you worry about the breathing, and the breathing carries you through the stretch. All right, and then we just go to the other side. So it's going to be, left foot is a post-up leg, the right foot is active and it rests on the knee, and then you get the right elbow into that joint, and that's it again, just pushing it in and getting that stretch So that's a good one for the glutes. All right, another one we're gonna go to is one that I'm not good at. It's one for the hips and one I'm trying to get better at, but it's gonna take a bit more practice and consistency with this stretch. So a lot of yogis do this one and they can get a very good deep stretch out of it. With me, what you want to do, you want to have your, say we're using our right knee now, your right knee square to your body like that, and then your back leg flat and in a line coming straight back. I can't do that, so what I have to do, my front knee will bend a little bit, probably at a 45-degree angle or so, and then I can get my back knee down. But as I do that, I'm feeling that in my glutes and my hip again. So you just hold that stretch, and that's a good stretch for me. Then we're going to change over the sides as always. So same thing on this side. So get the knee out in front, and then you can get the trailing leg back. And you just hold it there, and you feel the stretch right there in the glute once more. So these stretches here, this is how I end up stretching for a lot longer, because these ones I find so much harder to do. So what I'll do is that I'll usually spend probably a good 5 minutes just on this stretch alone, and these stretches, because I know my hips are tight, my glutes are quite tight, and also my lower back as well. So, because it's a problem area for me, I usually work that area a lot more. So, for brevity, I'm going to just move on to the next one, but that is what I'd do if I was doing this for real. So next one from the athletics days. So the box split, so you're going to take the right leg out in front, have that knee locked out, and then you're going to have the left into the box splits. So you go down, stretch out the hamstring. If you bring your toe in like that, right, let's get back into the camera frame. All right, so if you bring your toe in like that, you're going to feel the stretch in your calf muscle more. If you leave it relaxed, you're going to feel it more in your hamstring, and it takes it off the calf muscle. So that's that one, and then from there, I lean back, and you get a stretch into the quad, the TFL muscle on the side, and the hip flexor. So some people can literally just lay back all the way. I can't do that yet, but I just lean back like this. Then we go on to the other side. So same thing. This time the left side, and I know my left side is less flexible. Noticeably, I feel it on my hamstring and my hip flexor. So this one, I just end up breathing a lot more consciously. Breathe it through, hold it there, and then after I'm going to come back and get the stretch in the hip flexor and the quad. So that's the hamstring stretch. All right, we'll go back in for some more hamstring stretch now. So what I'll do is, all right, so I'm going to go for another hamstring stretch now. So what you do is get that left leg locked out, and you can take your knee back far as you want really. I mean, the main thing is we're trying to get the hamstring stretch, but if you take it back further, you're going to get a hip flexor stretch, which doesn't do any harm. But the main focus is the hamstring stretch. And also, you want to get a calf stretch by keeping your heel dug into the ground. So with this one, once you're in a position which is challenging, you can just hold it there. If you want to increase the stretch, you just come down and take your head down towards your knee, and then you feel the tension even more. Once again, the breathing is key. Work on the breath and the stretch comes. And we change legs. So the right leg goes in front, left knee back, keep this locked, and then you just go down and just breathe it through. Stretch, Right, from that position, we'll get a hip flexor stretch as well. So, what you want to do is get the foot flat on the floor. Let me change the camera angle. Alright, zoom in just a little bit. So, what you want to do is get the foot flat on the floor. Let's start with the right foot as usual. And then, rather than having the knee close at 90 degrees or even less, you want to make an obtuse angle, make it a bit, open up the leg, open up that angle as much as you can. The more you do so, you get that hip flexor stretch right there. So just hold it there, like that, if that's what you can, or you can manage. If that's comfortable, you can lean back and stretch up. And as you stretch up, you get the stretch over the hip flexor. If you want to take it even further, you take that stretch over the knee. So back and over the knee, or over the leg, and you feel that stretch coming up into the obliques as well. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So get that position. So you can feel it. I can feel the hip flexor. I can feel the hip flexor getting stretched now. I'm going to come back, stretch up, feel it even more. Take it across, feel it even more. So that's a stretch. All right. Next one, we're going to do a calf stretch on the floor. So next one, we're going to do a quad stretch on the floor. So this one, just bring your knees together. If you can, you want to have your feet open like this. If you can't and it's too much for your ankle joint, you can come with your toes dug into the floor. So all you're going to do with this one is lean back like this. It's a good one for ankle flexibility, but also for the quads. So let me come over a little bit. So all you're going to do is just breathe. As you come backwards with stretches, you start to lose your breath. I find I lose my breath. So what you're going to do is just start breathing from early, nice and relaxed, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose if you can, or out through the mouth, and then start coming backwards. So you just take it back. So that's as far as I get pretty much. So that's the quad stretch using both legs. You can then go into a quad stretch for each leg. So what we're going to do is cross one knee over like that, and then you're going to pull that quad with the same hand. So left foot goes into the left hand, and you can just get a bit more closer to the ground and pull in, and that's going to give you a good quad stretch. And then we do the same on the other side. Cross it over, and then we get the right quad stretched out. Same thing. All right, let me go to standing. Let me change the camera angle, give you the standing quad stretch. All right, so this is a standing quad stretch that most people will have done. So very simple. If you need to hold on to anything, you can do. So you want to keep your right foot in your right hand. You want the active leg, i.e. the right leg, next to the standing leg, and pull through the middle of that muscle. And you can use both hands if you need to. Pull it right through. And then we go same thing on the other side. So get that left hand, pull in the left foot, nice and close to the standing leg, and pull it right through. Balance is all right, ain't getting embarrassed on screen this time. All right, so that's the stretch for the quads. All right, so our next one we're going to do is going to be one to stretch out the lower back. So first thing I do for the lower back, just ease out the lower back. So as soon as you're in this position, or any position with your legs up in the air, and you take your bum off the floor, you start to release that lower back. So I just rock like this, forward and max. So that just helps release the lower back. Nice little ease into the back, releasing stretches. So from there, the next one, let's get the position. So you're going to be on the floor like a crucifix. So what we're going to do is let's take the left knee over the body, and then what you want to do is come back, take your left knee over, and you're trying to keep that left knee close to the floor whilst also getting both shoulders as close to the floor or on the floor as possible. So I try and use my right hand to keep my knee as close to the floor as possible, and then left knee, and then just try and get my shoulder onto the floor. And in doing that, I feel the stretch right across my lower back. So this one, once again, is one I find difficult, I struggle with it. So it's just about breathing, consciously breathing through my nose, out through my nose, and just working on the breath, and the stretch starts to come. So that's another one I spend quite a long time with. And I feel my back just clicking out as I do that one. So then we go other side as always. Take it across, right knee over, left hand on to try and lock it into the floor, and trying to get the right shoulder on the floor. This one's a bit more flexible, but I can still feel it in the lower back. So I just hold it there, and breathing it through. So I'm nearly there, shoulders nearly on the floor. I'm still tight. All right, so once we're there, I'm gonna come to the end of the mat and just take my legs over my head. So take it over and stretch it out. So that's gonna stretch out the lower back. So with this one, if you can't do that, I just say to people what you can do is just hold your hands, hold your ankles in your hands or your shins in your hands, and get your bum off the floor. And that's gonna release your lower back. Obviously, if you can, go further, and get that stretch. And just hold that, and once again, just breathe it through. So I'm kind of running out of time, so there are going to be more stretch videos, but this is going to be the last stretch for this one because it's gone on quite long now. But you've got quite a few stretches to go through anyway. So the last one, I want to stretch out the whole anterior chain, well, from the hips upwards, and anterior chain of the front chain of the body. So hip flexors, stomach, chest, everything, yeah? So what you're going to do is start with your hands behind your head, just like that. And you're just going to take it back, just like that. So you want to push your hips out without bending your knees. The hips just push out. You let your back bend. Your hands are behind your head, so your chest is open, which is good because we're so used to sitting down on computers and closing up our shoulders. So that's a nice open position, and from there, as you take it back, it opens up even more. So this one is one, I literally do this every day. If I don't stretch, which I don't really stretch every day if I'm honest, but this is something I pretty much do nearly every day. And I feel my chest clicking out every day doing this. So this is the last one. So just taking it back, trying to keep the legs nice and stable. Push the hips up and let the back bend, head drop. So that is a stretch video done. Very long one, but I think it's going to be very useful for not only myself, but for anyone that wants to increase their flexibility and stay injury free as well. Alright, so guys, thanks for watching if you stayed this long. I know it's a long one today, but I appreciate it. Also appreciate those that have subscribed, have liked, have shared. Please keep doing that. There are going to be a lot more videos coming soon, so stay tuned. Until the next one, I'm out. Keep watching One Myself and Fitness.